Gone Girl, Gillian Flynn, a psychological thriller that redefines marriage and manipulation. Welcome to today's book review. In this video, we're diving deep into Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, a psychological thriller that has captivated millions of readers with its dark, twisted plot and complex characters. This novel is not just about a missing wife. It's a deep psychological exploration of relationships, manipulation, media influence, and the terrifying realization that sometimes the person closest to you is also the one you understand the least. The story begins on the morning of Nick and Amy Dunn's 5th wedding anniversary. Everything seems normal until Nick comes home to find his wife missing. Their house shows signs of struggle, and as the police begin their investigation, the evidence increasingly points toward Nick as the prime suspect. While Nick insists on his innocence, his behavior raises doubts. He appears distant, emotionless, and worst of all, he has been having an affair. As the media latches onto the case, public opinion turns against him, portraying him as the cold-blooded husband who likely murdered his wife. The book is structured into two main parts. The first half alternates between Nick's present-day narration and excerpts from Amy's diary, which recounts their relationship from the beginning, filled with passion, romance, and later, tension and resentment. Amy's diary portrays her as the perfect wife who has been increasingly mistreated and ignored by her husband. Her disappearance, framed by her diary entries, paints Nick as an abusive and unfaithful husband, making it easy for both the police and the public to believe he is guilty. But then, just when the reader is convinced of Nick's guilt, Flynn delivers one of the most shocking twists in modern literature. Amy is alive. She meticulously planned her disappearance to frame Nick for her murder as an act of revenge for his infidelity and what she perceives as his emotional neglect. Amy is not a helpless victim. She is a master manipulator, a woman who understands human psychology so well that she can control people's perceptions of her with precision. Every move she made was carefully orchestrated, from planting fake evidence to fabricating a diary that would ensure Nick's conviction. Amy's plan is flawless until it isn't. Circumstances force her to change her approach, and instead of seeing her scheme through, she makes a shocking decision. She returns to Nick. But not because she forgives him. No, Amy returns because she refuses to lose. She manipulates the situation to ensure that Nick is trapped in a marriage he can never escape. He knows the truth about her, but he has no way to expose her without ruining himself. The novel closes on an unsettling note, with Amy announcing that she is pregnant, a move that guarantees Nick will remain by her side, whether he wants to or not. Themes and analysis. At its core, Gone Girl is much more than a mystery novel. It is an exploration of marriage, identity, and media influence. Flynn forces readers to ask, how well do we really know the people we love? Both Nick and Amy present themselves as one version of a spouse to the world while hiding darker, more twisted truths beneath the surface. Their marriage is a battleground where power shifts constantly, and their love, if it ever existed, has transformed into a toxic game of control and survival. One of the novel's most striking themes is the illusion of the perfect relationship. Amy and Nick's marriage initially seemed picture-perfect, but behind closed doors, their resentments and disappointments festered. Amy, with her privileged upbringing and high expectations, resents Nick for failing to be the charming, ambitious man she thought she married. Nick, on the other hand, feels emasculated by Amy's constant criticism and eventually seeks comfort in another woman. Their relationship reflects the uncomfortable truth that many marriages struggle with, the difference between who we think we are marrying and who that person truly is. Another major theme is the power of media manipulation. Throughout the novel, we see how easily the media shapes public perception. The moment Amy disappears, the press constructs a narrative that suits their needs. The perfect wife, married to the suspicious husband. They take Nick's awkwardness and lack of emotion as proof of his guilt, showing how quickly people can be swayed by carefully crafted stories rather than facts. Amy, understanding this power, uses it to her advantage, feeding into the media's hunger for sensationalism. In doing so, Flynn critiques the modern world's obsession with media-driven narratives and how truth is often irrelevant in the face of a compelling story. Amy herself is one of the most fascinating female antagonists in modern literature. She is intelligent, strategic, and utterly ruthless. While some readers may see her as a villain, others may view her as a woman taking control in a world that often underestimates her. Her actions are undeniably extreme, but her motivations come from a place of deep psychological trauma and a desperate need for control. This complexity makes her both terrifying and mesmerizing. Nick, on the other hand, is far from innocent. While he is not a murderer, he is deeply flawed, dishonest, selfish, and weak. His affair with a much younger woman shows his inability to confront his own failures, and his tendency to play the victim makes him an easy target for Amy's elaborate revenge. In many ways, Gone Girl is not about good versus evil. It's about two deeply damaged people locked in a toxic, destructive cycle. Strengths and weaknesses of the book. One of the novel's biggest strengths is Flynn's ability to craft unreliable narrators. Both Nick and Amy lie, not just to others, but to themselves, forcing the reader to question everything they read. This makes Gone Girl a psychological puzzle that keeps readers engaged from start to finish. Another strength is the razor-sharp writing. Flynn's prose is gripping, laced with dark humor and psychological insight that makes even the most disturbing moments fascinating. The pacing is masterful, slowly building tension before delivering one shocking twist after another. However, some readers may find the beginning of the novel slow. The first half of the book, where Amy's diary entries paint Nick as the villain, can feel drawn out for those eager for the action to begin. Additionally, the ending is deeply unsettling. Some readers love it for its boldness, while others feel frustrated by the lack of justice. Instead of delivering a clear resolution, Flynn leaves us with a haunting conclusion. Nick and Amy remain trapped in their twisted marriage, bound together by lies, fear, and a disturbingly mutual understanding. Final thoughts. Gone Girl is a psychological masterpiece that challenges traditional narratives about marriage, morality, and manipulation. It forces readers to question not only the characters, but also their own assumptions about relationships and media influence. The novel's unforgettable twists, morally complex characters, and thought-provoking themes make it a must-read for fans of psychological thrillers. What do you think about Gone Girl? Do you believe Amy was justified in her actions, or do you see her as a true villain? And what about Nick? Does he deserve sympathy, or is he just as manipulative in his own way? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more exciting book reviews. See you in the next video.